Stay tuned for today's Antidote, brought to you by the Renegade Success Network. Today's Antidote features a healthy dose of thought-provoking insights and information for business owners, entrepreneurs, leaders, and nonprofit professionals. Each day since March of 2020, this program has offered that one thing to help you continue on your own unique pathway to success. And now, Renegades, we bring you Bob Graham and Tom Brush.
Hey, Tom. Happy Blue Friday. Got the blue working?
I see that. We were on a similar wavelength for some reason.
That's something like that. Who would have thought it? Sorry, folks, for starting a little late. We had some technical glitches. A healthy debate that I'm happy to report I actually won for once. Usually Tom's right in these things, but this time I was right about something. So I'd like to celebrate that today. Oh, wait, I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yes, you are. Which is all right. Which is, that's can make decisions on this show as well. So if you choose to move forward, that's what's real for you. Doesn't mean that it's right. It just means that that's what's real for you in the moment.
Yes, that's it. I like that.
Yeah. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's Antidote. It's our daily broadcast as well as podcast. So whether you are watching this live on Facebook or YouTube or Twitter, or maybe you're catching the replay, or you're listening to the podcast, we hope that you will find your one thing today that'll help you move forward, because we will share that. Although actually this week we'll share a little bit about what we learned, or this week. Today we'll share a little bit about what we discovered this week, rather than sharing just one thing. It'll be a little bit about the week as a whole, where we've been talking about the Renegade Daypack, which is, we've described it. If you don't know what that is, go back to listen to Tuesday and Wednesday. Or even Thursday, and that will tell you a little bit about how the day pack can help you be better prepared for your day, to consider what your current day went and what the next day looks like. And we did a little bonus episode. So if you're a member of our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, we did a bonus episode yesterday to talk about when to pack the day pack. So if you haven't checked that out, go take a look, because I think you'll find it helpful. So given all that, what are you doing, Bob? You look like you're deep in thought doing something.
I'm trying to do some things I normally do on Facebook, and all I'm getting is spinning. And it makes me think that Facebook's got a glitch right now.
Well, I don't know. This says that it's streaming live to Facebook. So
I'm not suggesting we're not doing what we do. I just am not sure it's doing what it does at the Facebook end. But that's fine.
It's broken. Did we break Facebook or the internet?
That's
wow. All those people who think that they broke the internet, and we're the ones that finally broke the internet.
It was the two blue shirts. That's what threw it.
Either that, or somebody actually looked at our faces, and they're like, "Oh my Lord, why are these guys doing a video show?"
Oh my. So, yeah, there's that.
You don't know where to go with that, do you?
I'm just. There are some things that, here it goes. Now it's back. Okay.
Darn it. They fixed the internet.
Well, no, it was just concerning to me. That's all.
Did you fix it?
Yes, Tom, I fixed it.
No. It's a good question though, right? How much time did you spend worrying about something you have no control over?
Well, here's what really happened. And it's a lot like mail delivery, and it's a lot like email delivery. We've gotten to a place where we assume certain things will happen. If you send an email, you expect that it reaches the recipient. If I turn on Facebook at 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning, I expect my feed to be there. If I send a letter to someone or a copy of my book, The Renegade Way, Tom, you're supposed to.
Sorry, I'm slow.
Come on,
guys, if you're listening to the podcast, I'm holding up a copy of Bob's book, The Renegade Way.
And if that gets sent to you, we assume it's going to reach the person. So when those things aren't happening, it just shakes the foundation. And all three of those things have happened in my life this week. And it really causes me to like question everything. And I know the internet's not completely perfect, or whatever I called it. I know email's not perfect. I know mail's not perfect. I totally get that. But when you start to get those things, those core things that you expect to have happen don't happen in a string, it gives you pause. And so I was just this morning going, oh, geez, if Facebook's not working, that means this. We've got some things that we're doing with Facebook. And my thought was, this would cause some planning challenges for us for the day. But fortunately,
okay,
I did my day pack. And I built in some extra time today.
Excellent. Well, why
Because
don't
I
you
knew
hold
we
that
might.
thought? Hold
What's
that
that?
thought. Hold that thought.
All right, I'll hold that thought.
Because again, you're getting ahead of us.
Okay, Tom.
As our listeners who pay attention know, we always celebrate. So,
I forgot to celebrate.
what are you celebrating today, Bob?
I'm celebrating them a step ahead of us today. No,
That's fair.
Yeah, no, I'm going to celebrate the beautiful weather. It has been a beautiful week where I am, and I played golf yesterday, and it was cool enough to wear a pullover, which meant no need for suntan lotion. And I dislike suntan lotion immensely.
Fair enough.
If only my golf game had been as good. Not good.
You're judging it. Don't judge it. Just see what happens.
Par was 32 on this 9-hole course. I
Okay.
shot a 47.
All right. Well, what went well?
The fact that I got out in the middle of the day to go play golf.
Okay. What didn't go as planned?
Hitting my new irons.
Okay. What will you do differently?
Go to a driving range and get used to those irons before I play again.
Okay. Great.
Wow, that was really good. Now I have a path forward.
Now you can take your next. You know what to do. Well, what's your next step?
My next step is to find a driving range down here and go hit the clubs a bit, which is, I hadn't thought through that fully, but that should be on my task list for later today or tomorrow.
Yes. It's a good weekend activity.
In a lot of ways, absolutely.
Great. You're going to ask me what I'm celebrating, or doesn't?
Oh, I'm sorry, Tom. I am so curious. What are you celebrating today?
This is a big one. Today is my wife and I's 27th anniversary.
Wow, 27 years. Is there dinner out tonight?
Well,
Are you taking her to McDonald's or Burger King?
Well, this is the challenge for today. So
you have to leave.
I'm leaving, and I'm going with a friend, someone who is a contributor to the show occasionally. My friend Frank and I are going up to a lacrosse clinic in Philly. So because it's a 2-day thing, we're staying overnight. So on my anniversary, I'm spending it with my good buddy Frank.
Now I know why he writes Tom in all long letters.
Yes.
Couldn't schedule a lunch with your wife, huh?
No, because we have to leave at about noon. So unfortunately.
You did, I hope, send her something to mark this occasion.
I gave her flowers this morning and a card. Yes.
Okay.
And I brought cupcakes home last night to share.
Did you do the usual go to the graveyard near your house and pull up some of the flowers that someone left and give her those, or?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right.
Never
Are you a grocery store flower guy?
Sometimes. Depends.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I tend to think that you have to go to the florist. To me, getting flowers means a florist. The grocery store is, it's great. If you're in a rush, I totally get it. But to me, the flowers at the grocery store, it's kind of copping out a little bit.
Thanks. Appreciate that sentiment. Now I feel
and here's something. Have you ever gotten flowers?
Have I ever gotten flowers?
Uh-huh.
No, I don't think so.
I never have either. I would like to get flowers one time in my life.
Have you ever told anybody that?
I just told the thousands of people listening now, I would expect that there's going to be a delivery later today with, hey, Bob, these flowers are to suggest you never speak again on this program.
Could be. Could be. I doubt it. Could be, though, right? You can't
What's
control
interesting to me that we think of guys typically giving flowers to women.
Correct.
We don't think of it the other way. And, imagine if your wife chose, I'm not saying she should or shouldn't, but what if she had chose to give you flowers this morning?
So actually, that was not true. I have received flowers before. I think twice. Once, going to my high school prom.
No, the corsage and the boutonniere, that doesn't qualify.
That's a flower.
It's a flower, but that's not like, oh, let me find a vase to put them in. That thing's going on your lapel. And let me guess, the other one was your wedding.
Correct.
Not good enough.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Just
That's what's real for you.
That's it. Or what's unreal for me.
Well, you never know. All right. So what's the world celebrating today, Bob?
The world today is celebrating, I just forgot it is World Smile Day. Now, here's the thing, Tom, and there's research around this. When we make phone calls or when we talk to someone and smile more, they know, like, and trust us better. Smiles are a really good entry point. And if you've ever talked to someone on the phone, when they're smiling, their tone is different. And there is research that says that they can actually feel that smile through the phone somehow. Really, honestly, if you talk to salespeople, one of the things they teach phone salespeople is smile. Smile when you're talking to your customer.
How do you smile and talk at the same time?
You just, hey, I'm Bob and I'm talking, I'm smiley right now. You don't go, hi, Bob, what's going on? The smile, so I think what happens is the smile causes your face muscles to move in different ways, which causes your voice to be slightly different, and people pick up on that. So World Smile Day, try it today. If you're making a phone call, smile through the phone call and see if it changes things. I'd love to hear. You can tell me, write a comment in the show for the show, email me, call me. Hey, Bob, I'm smiling right now. How's it sound?
Can you tell? Okay, so World Smile Day. It's a great day. I just think it's interesting that you can smile and talk on the phone. I do, though, appreciate that when people smile. There's something different about when you're walking through a store or when you pass someone and they have a smile on their face rather than staring at their phone or looking down at the ground or just looking like all they want to do is get to wherever they're going and nothing else matters. So,
or all that time we had masks, wearing masks, and you can't see people whether they're smiling or not. I found going to the grocery store very frustrating because you just see people, you saw their eyes, you didn't know if they were like sticking their tongue out at you, smiling at you, or hey, I'm kind of aggressive in the grocery store, Tom.
I guess. Wow. Didn't know that. Learned something new about you. You like flowers and you're aggressive in the grocery store. That's what I learned this week. I don't know about anything else. Maybe we should talk about what we discovered about the Renegade Daypack this week.
Yes.
Think about that. Should we do that?
Yes, Tom. Why don't we?
All right. So one of the things that's interesting, what you were talking about, the 3 things that were bothering you today, that the mail doesn't always get delivered, the email doesn't get delivered, and that the internet wasn't working for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many of those do you control?
None, presumably.
Correct. And yet, like many of us, we spend parts of our day worrying about things that we can't control. One of the things I think I discovered through our conversation is that the things in the day pack are things that we can control. We can control deciding to celebrate. We can control that we are going to measure and evaluate what we've done, kind of like I did with you about your golf game. We can plan. We can schedule time to do things. whether it's our most important priority or it's things that are going to be a little bit about self-care and taking care of ourselves or others. And we can take the next step. We can decide what the next step is. All of those things are in our control. Sometimes once after that isn't always in our control. And so at least, the idea of considering these 4 essential things as we review our day and plan our next day, or review the day before and plan the current day, are things that we can control. And I think so often we get lost in the things that we can't control. And a lot of that leads to frustration, overwhelm, and just ultimately getting stuck. And, so I think those are part of what I discovered this week. How about you?
I discovered just through happenstance while I was running the other day, I was trying to think of ways to describe this day pack, and I came on the idea of that it gives you focus, flexibility, freedom, and fun. And the one in that group that really surprised me was fun. But yesterday, when I went out in the middle of the day to play golf, and you were really great to say, hey, you should go do that. This is why we do what we do. And we had a busy day of things yesterday, and it was logistically a little more complicated. But the fact that I could build a day to incorporate the fun on a gorgeous middle of the day. Now, I worked into the evening because I wanted to get some things done, but that was fine because I got to do what I wanted to do my way yesterday. And I don't think that I really incorporated fun into my work day in the way that I can now. Like today, I was looking at my calendar today. I've got meetings until 5:00, but there's something I want to do later today. And I realized I could do my meeting from that location, get to that location early, do my meeting, and then be there. I was like, wow, this is really cool. That flexibility and that freedom to build the day around what I want is not the straitjacket that some people think about when we say, hey, you should schedule your day. And I've heard it, I've experienced it, I've felt it. It's like, if I schedule a day, that means everything's going to be locked down. And if I don't feel like working at 4:37, I got to keep going till 5:00 because it's on my calendar. Check email from 4:30 to 5:00. And I think that what this does is it allows us to have a way to build it, not just the way we want, big picture, but day to day. So I played golf in the middle of the day yesterday. I'm not playing golf in the middle of the day today. I don't have plans to play golf in the middle of the day any other days. However, because I was able to do it yesterday successfully, it suggests it might happen at least one day next week.
Why not? Right.
And I don't think I could have gotten there had I not done this whole exercise and our approach to planning the day. And also planning the day it's fun now. When you say, hey, what worked well, what didn't work well, what would you do differently? I can answer those questions. I think they're in all of our heads at all times. We just don't pull them out. And the growth is in that.
Sure. It's an understanding, right? It's not in the evaluation or the judgment of whether your score was good or bad. That just is what it is, or what's real. And then you stop and say, okay, well, how do I reevaluate that time? And, it's funny. I think about, you talked about freedom, flexibility, and fun. I think the other thing that did was it allows you to focus.
Mm-hmm.
So because if you had not gone, you would have spent the day probably looking out at the beautiful day and been like, oh, I wish I was out on the golf course. Why I really don't want to do this. I don't want to write this social media post. Oh, I don't want to deal with this client. I'd rather be on the golf course.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you went and got that out of the way, you could come back and be like, man, wasn't that great? Now let me dig into what it is I wanted to do. And I think that ability to address some of those things in our head that we sit there saying, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I could have done that. As I think straitjacket was a really good term for you to use, is sometimes we feel so restricted because this is what our calendar says. And so often we don't control that, or sometimes we don't control that. And so there are things plugged in there that we didn't put. They were just put there by someone else, especially if you're within an organization. Or someone else comes in and interrupts what's in your calendar. And I think that's it. And I think, when we think about scheduling your day, it's not like scheduling it down to the minute necessarily, unless that's helpful for you. It's really, what are the most important things that you focus on? You talked about, well, it's 4:35 and I usually check my email from 4:35 to 5. Is checking your email from 4:35 to 5, unless you're desperately looking something, going to really move yourself or your organization forward?
Probably not.
Yeah. So that wouldn't be one of the things I would prioritize time to schedule, personally,
Mm-hmm.
because I could do that at any time. I could be like, you know what? I'm tired of working. For me, I'm down in my basement in my office, and I could be like, I'm just going to go upstairs. I'm going to go out and enjoy a little bit of the nice day. I'm going to go work out at 4:30 because that's what I'm feeling today, and it's the best time to get it in. And then when I come home, I can check my email. I think part of this day pack and the flexibility is it allows you to determine what your schedule looks like. And I know some people can't do that. Some people who are organizational leaders or even small business owners necessarily can't walk away at 4:30 and be like, oh, yeah, we're closing the doors. I mean, maybe, but not everyone. And yet that doesn't mean that that's what you have to do with the last 20 minutes of your day. What might be more valuable is walking down the hallway and talking to one of your team members who might have been struggling that day, or just checking in on people, seeing what things are going on, something that might add a different value to your day.
At the end of the day yesterday, which ended around 9:45 last night, I felt a huge sense of accomplishment. Even though I was gone from 9:30 to I think 1:30 out playing golf. That's a 3-hour window in the middle of the day that most people would be like, wow, bet you didn't get a lot done. But I knew that. I built that in, and I scheduled appointments into the evening. And there are things that I normally would have said, look, I'm available till 4:30 or 5 o'clock. This was a case where I could say, hey, how about a meeting at 7 p.m.? And the people were on the West Coast, so it was the perfect time for them. They were like, oh, this is great. Thank you so much for accommodating us. Meanwhile, in my head, I'm going, no, you accommodated my desire to go play golf earlier today.
Sure.
And that flexibility, just until you do it. And I thought it yesterday. Didn't I say to you at least once? I think I said twice, Tom, geez, maybe I should just cancel golf so we can get these things done. And you were really prodding me. Hey, we do this. The reason we're doing this is to go enjoy ourselves. Go enjoy. It'll be here. And I think that's something that I struggle in my head to have that talk with myself. And you're really good at saying to me, hey, go. Yeah, that's a good idea. And I think for a lot of people, there's that constant pressure of I've got to be working. But they're not accomplishing what they set out to accomplish. And just being at my computer all day long doesn't mean I accomplished anything. Just means I was at my computer all day long.
Well, and I think we get to determine what will define whether we feel like we accomplished anything, right? I mean, you could have said, I'm going to play golf at whatever time you went, 11 o'clock. And knowing that I might come home and not really be focused, said, you know what, on my list of priority things to do as I schedule, might have been one thing. All right, in the morning, because I know I'm going to go do this, this is the time I need to focus on this one thing. And you could still, at the end of the day, feel like you accomplished something because you defined what your own unique success was going to be like that day. And I think that's another piece of this, is that we get to determine what does success look like. Like I knew yesterday, because I was out late, I driving back from a lacrosse game and didn't get home till 2 a.m. I knew that I was not going to be as focused yesterday. And so I knew that there were a couple of things that I really needed to get done. There was one thing that I didn't. And I also knew that that was a possibility. And so that I didn't walk away from the day when I took a big break in the afternoon because I was just feeling run down. At the end of the day, I didn't walk away and feel like, wow, that day was lost because I didn't accomplish everything that I wanted to. I had already planned that this day might not be as effective as I think. And while I had 3 things I wanted to do, I also knew that I might only get to 2. And that's what ended up happening. And I didn't walk away at the end of the day being like, oh, well, that day was a failure. Because I had already established what my expectations were, knowing that they could also change.
It's really a powerful tool. You know, I can't explain, Tom, how comforting it is to have that structure, that ability to understand things. You know, I wasn't really thinking about the driving range until you walked through those 3 questions with me. But then it was just like automatic, like, I gotta go to the driving range, figure this out. Imagine how much progress we can make when the next step is right there. And I think what you and I are finding is it's very elusive to people because they're not looking at the right, the best way to look at what they've done already. They're just going, oh, you know, I was going to make 9 calls today and I only made 3.
Right. They're judging it. They're judging the results.
Yep. And I think getting away from judging and also being honest with ourselves. You know, if you'd said to me yesterday, hey, this is going to be a killer day, I'm going to get more done than usual, I'd be like, Tom, really? You're going to be up till 2 a.m. the night before. You had a busy day the day before. You need to balance things a little bit. And I think this gives us the ability to think about balancing work and the rest of the parts of our lives. And for so many small business owners, leaders, and entrepreneurs, that work-life balance is a fantasy. They can't even begin to see it. But to me, yesterday was a great work-life balance for me that I could go out and play golf in the middle of the day. And if you looked at my results for yesterday and what I accomplished, I got a lot done because I knew when I got back from playing golf, here's what I'm going to do, and I'm focused.
Well, you had the freedom to make that choice, right? Yep. You made the choice that my work hours today are not 9 to 5. My work hours today are, well, 8 because we do this show. If you call this work, I don't know if that's a question. So my work hours were 8 to 10. Then I was off. And
it's
then
actually 6:30 to 10. I actually got up early and started working early.
Okay. So 6:30 to 10. And then you worked from 3:30 till maybe 9, or you took a break.
Yeah.
In between that. So that you were able to define, like, not only what does success look like, but what does your day look like? And I think there's a freedom in that many people can't consider because they're wrapped up in either by their employer or by their belief that this is the way it's always been, that we work from 9 to 5. And that's what it looks like. And we don't think about, well, maybe that doesn't work for me. Maybe that's not what's real for me. And I'm looking for another way. And I think that's what this allows us to help identify and find more clearly a pathway to that work life that we are trying to create.
I can't encourage people enough. We didn't talk about the Daypack and what it is today in much detail. Go back to our episodes earlier this week. It is really a different way to structure things. It's not the straitjacket that you're thinking when you have to schedule and scheduling in 15-minute blocks on. It's not that at all. It's much more overarching. And also, admittedly, it takes some getting used to. It takes some work to get there. And that's why Tom and I have put together something that we're slowly unveiling in the next couple of days. What?
We're unveiling today. You can talk about it.
Oh, are we unveiling it today?
Yes.
Oh, okay. There you go. Are we doing it right now?
You were a step ahead. Now you're a step behind.
Are we doing it right now, or?
Might as well. Why not? You opened the door. Go through. Take the next step.
So doing the Daypack, getting used to it, can take some adjusting. It did for me. It did for Tom. And for the people that we've worked with this, it takes some fine tuning. It also takes them, well, what about this? What about this? So Tom and I built a 6-week challenge, an opportunity for you to actually build the habit. There's some research out there that says that it takes 4 to 6 weeks to create a habit. Our hope, our intent is to help you build that habit. And if you go in and do it for 6 weeks and you go, well, I don't like that third question, I'm going to change it, that's totally fine. What I would say is if you're someone, an organizational leader, a manager, a business owner, a business manager, an entrepreneur, all of these people, all of these categories can benefit from this way of structuring your day. It's not minute by minute. It's not hour by hour. It's more, what are you trying to achieve and what will move you forward? And it's important to me that we start this on the first day of October because I was looking at my goals for the year this morning. I look every new quarter. One of the goals I had for this year was to write another book. It is October 1st. That book is 2 paragraphs started, so I'm only 120 pages short. I believe with the day pack, I could have that book done by the end of the year if I choose. I really do believe, because I think it would help me structure that. So if you're someone, and by the way, writing a book, folks, it's not like a 20-minute project. That's Tom will tell you, that's a legitimate effort that takes a lot of time, and you got to build the time in, and it's got to be focused time. You got to sit in front of a keyboard or write on a pad with no distractions. I think the day pack would give me the most structure to make that possible. And so if you have something like writing a book, opening a new product line, creating a new service, retooling your warehouse, whatever, any kind of thing like that, this would be a way that you can structure it and move forward and actually land it by the end of the year. Now, you want to know when I suggested the book? It was in March, first time I brought it up. I didn't get it done. And you know why? I didn't make it a priority.
Right.
Really simple.
May not be a priority. I mean, that's the thing, right?
Exactly. But I use it as an example. At least with the day pack, I can consider it. And when I'm going through, hey, what am I trying to accomplish? Is the book the thing on that list? Does it resonate enough on that list that I build the time in for that, just like I was able to build time in for golf?
Sure.
And I think that's what we're trying to do. That's what our 6-week challenge is all about. Tom, how can someone find out more?
Well, before I want to just share a couple of things before that. Sorry.
Oh, that did so well.
You did. Well, I think this is going to add to it.
Okay.
Because I think people are going to have questions. One of the questions I'm sure somebody is thinking is, I'm already unbelievably busy. How am I going to have time to add this challenge to my day? And what I would offer is that Bob and I understood that. And we intentionally built this for busy people, for people who feel, Bob just left me, for people who feel like they have no time. I guess he didn't have any more time left, so he decided to leave. There he is.
Sorry about that.
I guess you didn't have any more time left.
No, I hit a button that I've never hit before, and it was the eject button. I did not know that would happen.
Fair enough. You were testing something out. You were just bored, and so you're like, "Let me push this button."
I just was resting my hand on the keyboard, and I just hit the button.
Fair enough.
Whoops.
So, as I was saying, is that if you're someone who feels like you don't have enough time, we built this intentionally for people who are really busy, who are trying to gain control over their time and confidence with the next step. And so we have planned so that it will only take you 2 blocks of 15 minutes a day. So if you can find 2 blocks of 15 minutes of your day to have more control, more focus, more flexibility, more freedom, and more fun, you have enough time to do this. Because I know that's a question that people will have. And I think the other thing is, well, what if I want to do it all together? I want to do it in blocks. Like maybe I want to pick my weekends and do it. You can do that as well. So it will be available with lessons in an app or on your computer. So you can do it from a desktop or from your phone in an app. that will allow you to walk through. You can binge the lessons all you want, just like if that's what you like doing with Netflix, you can do it with that and move through them step by step.
And the lessons will be short, right, Tom? They're not
Yeah,
they're not
like I said,
they're
15
not an
minutes.
hour long or 2 hours long. They're like 8 to 10 to 12 minutes max.
Correct. The goal is that you can go through the lessons in less than 15 minutes. And then you set aside 15 minutes to pack your day pack so that you are ready for the next day. So really the time commitment is not a lot, and yet the results at the end will be significant, as they've been with other clients who we have put through this. The other thing you might be wondering is, yeah, you know what, I do these things, but I do them, I do them and I'm doing them by myself. So I don't have a whole lot of accountability, or I don't have anywhere to turn when I get stuck. Because we know, Bob and I were going through a course together, and on about day 10, we got stuck, and it slowed us down for a little bit. So to help people when you get stuck, we have two different things. One, you'll become a part of our Renegade Success Network Facebook group, private group, where there'll be a community to help you, where you can ask questions to the community. In addition, we will also schedule office hours. Once a week, there'll be a time where Bob or I, or both of us, will be live in the Facebook group answering questions so that you don't remain stuck, because that's the last thing that we want. And a third question that people have is, well, how do I do this? Where do I track it? Where do I put it down? And our answer is, you can do it a lot of different ways. One, you can do it on a sheet of paper. You can do it on your planner. You can do it on your computer, or we'll provide you a form every day. There will be a reminder that you need as a way to sit down and fill out your day pack, and that you will be stored so that you can go back and look and see what past days have been. And at the end, look back and see the progress you've made to move forward. So hopefully those answers to the questions are something that will be beneficial to you as you consider being a part of the 6-week challenge that will start, Bob, when?
October 16th.
Nice. Very good job.
I almost said Rocktober. When I was a kid, there's a local radio station in Baltimore that had Rocktober and Rollvember.
Interesting.
There's at least one person who's from Baltimore who's listening to this and going, oh my God, that was 98 Rock. I can remember that.
Probably will be. There's no doubt. So if you would like to learn more about the 6-week challenge, put I'm a Renegade in the comments of this, and we will reach out and connect with you, and we'll provide you with more details. Or you can direct message either Bob or I. If you're watching this on Twitter, just send a direct message to the Renegade Success Network or to me. If you are listening to the podcast, you can send an email to Renegade Ringleaders.
No, ringleaders at renegadesuccessnetwork.com.
Ringleaders at renegadesuccessnetwork.com.
Yes.
And we'll get you further information about that. We'll also be posting information on Facebook and Instagram over the next few days. Now, here's the other thing. Because this is the first time we're offering it, and we want to make sure that we're able to support the founders who are going through this, there are limited spaces available, because we want to make sure that we give the attention to the people who need it and make sure that they get the results that they desire. So we will close the cart on Wednesday of next week, end of the day. So you want to make sure you get your spot and get in early. So we hope that you will participate in that. Anything else you'd like to add, Bob, before we wrap this up?
No, we covered a lot of ground today, and I got to find a driving range and go hit some balls. I got a new priority for the day.
Excellent.
Modified day pack time.
All right, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us this week. If you have one thing you'd like to share, please feel free to put it in the comments. If not, we hope that we will see you inside our Ring of Renegades Facebook group, or we will see you Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern time, for our next edition of Today's Antidote. Have a great day, everyone. We will see you soon.
Hey, embrace the renegading you this weekend and every day, and smile.
Thanks for listening to Today's Antidote, powered by the Renegade Success Network. The Renegade Success Network helps you confidently create your own unique pathway to success. To learn more about the Renegade Success Network and how you can take your next step, follow us on Twitter, connect on LinkedIn, or join the Ring of Renegades Facebook group. For full details on how you can join our community, go to renegadesuccessnetwork.com. Embrace the renegade in you.